Hey everybody, this is Everything is Fine, Nothing is Ruined. I am your host, as always, Tristan. Joining me, also, as always, Hassan.
That's me.
That's him. And this week, we are here to discuss with you, viewer, you're on the hook for this, by the way, about the thing that is capturing everybody's attention, and that is the Sandman. Now, I don't mean... I'm pretty sure what we're discussing is like 1950s Sandman comics. The guy with the gas mask and the gas gun, but like Darkwing Duck is kind of based off of, but so is also a few other comic book characters. Part of the JSA. He's pretty cool. I think his name is Peter. I didn't do a lot of research into this one because I just, whatever. But Hassan, you're the expert on this one, so take it away.
Well, you're actually not entirely wrong on that one. So,
yeah.
But Tristan, I'm about to blow your mind.
What?
That Sandman from the 50s?
Yeah.
So in the 80s, they did this like weird reboot of him.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then in the 2020s, they made a TV series off of that.
That's interesting. I didn't hear about this. Okay, well, what's this reboot of him? I'm assuming it's just called Sandman, right?
It is called The Sandman.
Oh, okay. The Sandman. Kind of like the
Yes.
Batman kind of thing.
Actually, yes, because he somehow takes place in the same universe as Batman.
Okay, well, it makes sense. It's still DC Comics. I mean, it was timely back at the time, and now it's DC, so yeah.
Technically, it was Vertigo when they did the comics, but you know.
Oh, it's a Vertigo title. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of Vertigo titles, but I don't know anything about this one, so.
Yeah, they did a couple of instances it crossed over with actual DC.
Interesting. Okay. It's kind of like how Swamp Thing started appearing in DC Comics more.
It was more DC people appearing in the Sandman. Like at one point, Martian Manhunter shows up.
Interesting. Okay. Well, if it's Vertigo, it must have a lot of like John Constantine in it.
It does. Well,
nice.
Sorry. The comic had him. The TV show, she's a lady. Joanne Constantine.
Oh, that's that's a fun idea, because Joanne Constantine that's interesting actually. I could touch on that personally. That's hilarious. But well, I've never heard of this TV show, so you know.
Yeah. And actually, Tristan, we're here to talk about season 2 of the Sandman, because we already talked about season 1 before.
I'm looking at the title card. He does not have a gas mask or anything. Is that correct? No gas mask or gas gun.
He has a gas mask. He used it more in season 1, not as much in season 2.
Okay. Now, Okay, he seems like just a goth kid.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of like Robert Plant from The Cure. Look at this guy.
Yes. Yeah. Very much. Yes.
Yeah. He's like Boys Don't Cry and shit.
Yeah. But getting into it seriously, so Sandman is in fact a TV series based off the 1989 through 1996 comic book written by Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
At the time published by Vertigo. Vertigo is now... Does Vertigo still exist as
it's
a
quite
sub-label?
defunct. It's quite defunct. It's
Okay,
It's
so now it's just DC Comics.
Well, I will put this out there. They didn't revive Vertigo, but they sort of revived the spirit of Vertigo with DC Black Label. Just so it's kind of the same vibe, but not the same stuff, and mostly just kind of more adult-oriented stories about current like characters like Batman and stuff. So different but similar ideas.
Oh, that's why Batman showed his donger.
That's where Batman showed his dick. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes. And so this is a Netflix TV series, so fairly in line with their style of, short season prestige television.
10 episodes?
Yes. So we talked about season 1, which that aired in 2022, and then season 2 basically aired sort of in 2 parts in 2025. I don't know why they did it this way. They dumped 6 episodes on July 3rd, 5 episodes July 24th, and then the one final episode July 31st.
Oh, so they did 12 episodes. Interesting. Okay.
Yes. Though technically one of the episodes is like it's not plot relevant in any way. I think they literally call it a quote unquote bonus episode, which
it's
I have some complaints around that. Yeah, it's like no, like
is the bonus episode is the bonus episode in the middle of the season?
No, it's an end finale one.
Oh, it's not a bonus.
Yeah, when they call bonus, I was like, this obviously, like, these episodes cost way too much money. It's not like, oh, we started filming and actually we were so far ahead of schedule and under budget, we could just film an extra episode, no problem.
Yeah, sure.
So I did not enjoy or like that. I was like, this is not, like, bonus episode actually meant something back in the day, as in, hey, we weren't planning on doing this, but we managed to get a bonus one in somehow.
Yeah, exactly. It's like how you'll occasionally get like, hey, Seinfeld season 5 or whatever it is, I think it is. It was like, oh, this one has like 26 episodes because they got like 2 extra in there. Because they were able to just kind of like fire 2 more off because they did so well with the budget. Stuff like that.
So yeah, that's dumb. But yes, it's very much Netflix's style of sort of 45 to 60-minute episodes, 10 or so episode season. And for this, I don't mind that so much. For the way that the original Sandman was written, that sort of longer episode format works pretty well. If they had just done the standard terrestrial television 22-minute episodes, it's not that you couldn't do it, but you would end up with a lot of just, okay, these 2 episodes, these 3 episodes all have to be part of one story just because of the way the comics were written.
Yep.
So for once, I don't necessarily have complaints about that aspect. What I do have problems with for season 2 is that this show really should have had 3 seasons. Because season 2 basically has these 2 main arcing plots. So there's the one of the first 6 episodes and the one of the next 5. And so essentially what happened here was they definitely wanted this show to go on for longer. And then Neil Gaiman got revealed as a sex pest, and they put the plug on it, and squished and condensed some stuff down in that sense.
Of course.
Because, like the thing about the original Sandman comics was they would have these multi-issue big kind of event stories. Sandman has to, stop some big evil thing or address some long-held issue, blah, blah, blah. But then they would also have just like this one issue or these 2 issues are just going to have this, cool idea and story in between these things. And kind of the problem here is compared to season 1, season 1 felt like it did that with its episodes where you would have, hey, this episode is, the Sandman going to think they call it hell. I cannot recall if they end up giving it a different name, but it's literally supposed to be like Christian hell ruled over by Lucifer and him going down there and having this big, huge thing. Or, it's him going out into the human world and bringing back the residents of dreaming. But then in between that, there would just be like a fun episode where, it's him and his older sister Death. And, they're just sort of having these smaller experiences as he's sort of walking alongside her throughout her day as her role as Death, escorting the souls of the dead to the afterlife.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
Season 2, there's very little of that. It's just this constant going from important moment to important moment to important moment, and it just doesn't feel like it has time to decompress after things to kind of just give you those like still heady but fun moments to let you relax and kind of take it all in. Where I think, hey, if this had a third season, or if you had just extended the second season, if it was more like 15 episodes and there were just 2 or 3 smaller ones like that, it would have worked. Because that's also the problem, is that the bonus episode sort of is that. And so it's like, well, it doesn't, we'll get into it. It doesn't work either as a bonus episode.
Man, that sucks even more.
Because of all the other events that happen throughout this. So essentially the main 2 plots of season 2 are, 1, Death along with his younger sister Delirium. So the idea of the Sandman is that there are the 7 Endless, and they all start with D. So there's Dream, Death, Delirium, Desire, Destiny, Despair, and then their lost brother Destruction.
Right.
And so kind of the main plot of, or the first main plot is about Dream wanting, initially he's actually just kind of his younger sister Delirium, she is sad and missing their older brother Destruction, who he basically, because he was the god of destruction, got very tired of this and said, screw this, I'm leaving. I don't
sick
want
of
to
destruction.
Have to be, I don't want to have
this.
to just constantly be destroying things, because destruction also encompasses sort of war. Like there's one point where it's I don't know, I would have been what 1700s, I think, because I think it would be like Sir Isaac Newton maybe or something, where he basically holds this prism and he's talking to his brother about, I've seen this thing before, and what's going to happen is once they start understanding how light works and splitting light into different colors, that's going to lead to nuclear bombs. And I hate that. I don't like this. God, I wish these humans wouldn't do this. And that's why he decides to leave, is that, he is seeing, it's not, just like, a building being torn down. It's like, actual war and the destruction that goes along with it.
Right.
But initially, Dream is sort of tricking his sister into letting him come along and going on this journey, because he wants to do this so that he can sort of find his ex-wife. He realized, basically the older brother Destruction had set up these sort of traps that were triggering some of the people they were interacting with to get killed. Dream kind of realizes he's wrong, and then he's like, no, actually, I seriously want to do this with Delirium. Let's go find him. In order to do that, sort of, hey, the only way we can find him, because of all these magical barriers and such he's put up, is they need to find, I forget the term they use, but it's sort of you know, an oracle, a seer, you know, someone who
Okay. Yeah.
can, you know, look into
A visionary.
the magic of the world and see the threads and whatever.
Sure.
Who's that person? It is Orpheus, his son, who is just a severed head.
That's
because
fine.
because in this story, basically what happened is Orpheus marries a woman.
Mm-hmm.
On their wedding night, she gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to go to his dad, and he's like, I need to save her. You have to let me save her.
Yeah.
Dad's like, no, like, trust me, the dead have to stay dead.
No can do.
So he
buckaroo.
goes to his older aunt, Death, and he's like, Death, come on, you gotta let me go save her. So, you know, Death opens up the stairs to
Tartarus.
oh god,
Hades.
what? Hades, yes, Hades. You know, the story of Orpheus and I can't think of her name now. But you know, famous Greek tale, right?
It's not
Orpheus
Persephone.
goes down.
It's
Yeah, no, it's not Persephone.
Orpheus and Desiree, something like that.
No.
I'm looking it up.
Eurydice.
Eurydice.
So he goes down, blah, 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 not supposed to turn around. He does. So then what happens is the Furies come, basically tear up his body, but manage to leave him alive from his head. But in order to help out his dad, he's like, wow, you know, I want to die, and you're one of the few things that can kill me as one of the Endless. And basically, Dream agrees to this, kills him, and in doing so, he has broken this powerful rule that his parents, who I think are, what is it? His parents are like Time and Night. Those are who his two parents are.
Yes,
they had
I
basically
see.
put up this cast this magical spell or whatever that says that, you know, if one of the family sheds blood of another, they will die. And so then basically the next was it 5 episodes? Is it 5? Yes, the next 5 episodes are kind of all about how he has now like activated this magic, and that the Furies will come after him and kill him, and him trying to sort of set up his heir apparent so that his realm will continue, which his heir apparent is this baby called Daniel, who was in season 1, where the thing about Daniel is he is the son of a human woman and a dead man's like dream version. Basically, his mother missed her husband so much, but is also, she's the, oh god, what is her name? Her name is, 1 second here. Oh my god. All right. Let's go to IMDb. I don't know why you have it in that order, Wikipedia. That's really stupid.
That happens often.
Yeah, tell me about it. So her name is Lyta Hall. She is a descendant of
Lyta Hall.
Hippolyta.
Okay.
Or Hippolyta. So she sort of had some magic, and that basically allowed a dream being to impregnate her, which is why Daniel can become the next Dream of the Endless, because he is the first like entity truly born of the dreaming.
Gotcha.
And so there's this whole thing about Loki and oh god, what's the other guy's name? Puck. Loki and Puck,
yep.
kind of being mischievous and causing some stuff that ultimately allows, so because the rule of the Furies is they can't attack Dream in his realm of the dreaming.
Right.
They do some stuff that basically causes these issues and for Dream to leave. That ultimately, eventually he dies. Daniel is reborn as the new Dream. Season ends, and then the bonus episode is all about it's an episode of death on basically, I think it's like one day every, I forget what it is, like 10 years, 50 years, something. She gets a day off and she just gets to go in the human realm and not have to worry about taking souls to the afterlife.
Right.
And like, it's a good episode, but like going from the Dream, or I'm going to say Morpheus to distinguish, because there's, you know, the two dreams. There's Dream of the Endless, who is Morpheus, and then his successor, Dream of the Endless, Daniel. Yeah.
I see.
Which, to be fair, like, if you go back to Greek times, it's like Morpheus is basically a name like Daniel,
I mean,
right?
like,
It's not
just,
this like,
yes.
ooh, that's a prestige, you know, like it's just
It's,
a name.
it sounds fancy to us because it's a Greek name. Like, yeah.
Well, and an ancient Greek name, right?
Exactly.
Like, there aren't modern day people call it.
Yeah. Socrates is a very common name.
Yeah, sure.
Stuff like that.
But it's just, it's a real weird whiplash to go from like just this very somber tone, because the final episode is basically Dream's funeral, his wake, all these people showing up, mourning him, telling their stories, while Daniel is also going around to the residents of the Dreaming, and in some cases he's sort of like resurrecting them because the Furies had killed a bunch of them. Some of them, like Fiddler's Green, he brings back to life, and Fiddler's Green is like, what are you doing? Don't bring me back. And Dan's like, what? Well, what are you? You're a part of the Dreaming. You've always been a part of Dreaming. You have to come back. And he's like, no, I was part of the Dreaming because Lord Morpheus wanted me. You're a new guy. You have to figure out what your version of the Dreaming is going to be. If all you do is just bring back everything he had done,
the same old stuff. Yeah, what's the point?
Like no. What's the point of you? No one needs you. No, the point, you are this incredible. You're half human, half dreaming. No, do your own weird, crazy stuff. Figure out something new. Make me dead again. And he does. But like, you know, it's him going around and having these very intense and self-reflecting and questioning moments. And then to go to like, none of that is in any way, that all that story stuff, none of it's related to the death episode. She's just off on her own. None of the other characters show up. No impact. Yeah, and like Death's a little bit more like upbeat, outgoing, chipper in a way.
More in Death.
So it's just this weird whiplash. Why are we ending on this tone? This should have been somewhere in the middle of all this. It's super weird. And I was watching the episode, I still enjoyed it, but the whole time I'm thinking, this is not how this entire series should just be. Like, the last thing I watch of it is a completely unrelated story to any of the main events. None of the other characters show up or matter to it. It's a super strange choice. I have no idea why they did that. Again, good episode. Not, you know, I'm not complaining about the actual writing of the episode. It's mostly just hey, if this was in the middle of the season, that would have made way more sense as a just like, hey, here's sort of arc 1, side story, arc 2. Great. That makes sense. But here's arc 1, arc 2, side story. What? Huh?
They kind of lost the idea for all of the love that the people who own Netflix have for movies and television. It often feels they don't understand how a television show is produced. in the way that, like, so like I said, that episode, the bonus episode with Death should be in the middle, and that is correct. That's what we would call a bottle episode, and that would be in order to just kind of like do a side story to change the tone for a little bit before you get back to the main stuff, or like a way to reveal different things or shed new context on old plot lines, that kind of thing. But at the same time, it essentially is its own locked-in story. It can say things about this, or this outside of it, but it's its own contained thing. So it's a bottle episode, but you need to have the bottle episodes at the middle of the story. Otherwise, it doesn't really feel good as a TV watcher to be like, here's the last episode, and now this other episode that has nothing to really do with anything else.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? And I especially hate it because I think Death, who is played by Kirby Howell Baptiste,
Yes.
I really like her portrayal. I think she does a fantastic job of encapsulating a lot of what that character is and represents, because, you know, the Endless, they're all these very big, heady ideas of, you know, what it means to sort of be this god, but then also she's, you know, this big sister, and got kind of that like motherly big sister vibe to it, and so that's just really fun, you know, character with multiple layers. And so I especially hate it because it's like, oh, it feels like you're kind of like spoiling this character in a way by having them be saddled down in this unfortunate way where
they're
just stuck. I will say there are still moments in season 2 where look, Neil Gaiman, a sex pest, all that stuff, obviously bad, but also the man is an undeniably good writer who I think one of his best talents is how he could take moments and just put a lot of meaning behind them and really get to sort of the core of being human at times, just in very brief interactions. So one of the examples is I don't think I'm gonna find the character's name here, but there's this character from season 1 where essentially it's Dream and Death are in this I think it's around Shakespeare's era, if I'm remembering correctly. So like what, mid 1500s, I think that is.
Yep.
Or like early 1600s, I forget. But
we're in there.
Around there, yeah. But they're just in this English countryside pub at the time, and they're having some chat, and I forget what it is, but some guy somehow ends up making a deal with Death to be like, I'm never gonna die, and it's gonna be awesome. And there was an episode where the episode with Death and her kind of going about her day, we get to see some of it. He shows up a little bit in another episode. Shows up, I think, 1 or 2 times in this season. But during Death's wake, after it's all said and done, you know, Death kind of comes over to him, and, you know, she's just talking. She's like, you know, so because earlier too, we find out like he's been seeing a therapist because, you know, he's a human mortal that has been around for hundreds of years and has seen his children and grandchildren and great grandchildren all die before him, to the point that none of his family remember him, and, you know, all the people he has known and loved have all passed away. But he's talking to Death, and, you know, he's saying, like, I've been alive for whatever it is, 500 years, and I've been through all this, and I've basically seen and experienced everything. And I think I'm ready to go over to the other side, except then, one day you're in the realm of the dreaming at a funeral for a dead god. And I want to keep on living because who knows what the next day is going to have. And it's, this beautiful, fantastic moment, well acted. It's like, oh, yeah, like this is this really good moment that just sort of shows the like beauty and wonder of the world and humanity, that despite all the sorrow and terrible things this guy has been through, he's like, but every day is something new and incredible and crazy to see. And there's just a bunch of moments like that throughout this. Like, so going back to Orpheus's severed head.
Right.
So his head got hidden on this island, was supposed to be protected by this, I don't want to say a cult, but like religious sect, call it.
Cult is the right actual term for it. So the word cult is Greek.
I forget what they call it. I don't think they use the term cult. I forget what it is.
Basically,
this group was supposed to protect him, but his head gets stolen. So Joanna, Constantine's like great grandmother during the French Revolution, gets sent by dream to go into France and rescue this severed head. And it's this, weird, fun, like, it harkens back to, in a way, the sort of 1950s sort of pulpy comics of, here's just this weird story thing. And like, I really like that story and this sort of interstitial in it where we're, seeing this backstory and stuff. And so like, there's these really good moments like that. And then there's also just stuff where there are like characters and parts of it they just clearly had no idea what to do with. In particular, so there was a character, Rose Walker, from season 1, where, if I remember correctly, she's her grandmother was one of the people who got, because there was a real thing in like the 40s and 50s, was called sleep sickness. Right, people would basically just go to sleep and not wake up.
That was a thing, yes.
Yeah. So in the story of the Sandman, back in the, I think 40s or 50s, he got captured by some humans, and so essentially anyone who was asleep at the time got stuck in the realm of the dreaming. Her grandmother was one of those. Her and I think her brother got involved in Dream trying to chase down one of the I forget what they're called, but sort of like the big important individuals of the dreaming. So, there was Fiddler's Green. There was also one called Corinthian, who he kind of referenced nightmares, because people need their nightmares.
Yeah.
He basically went to the human realm after Morpheus disappeared and just became a serial killer. So Rose was all involved in that. In season 2, she shows up with Lyta Hall. And she's just kind of pointless there, because basically what happens is Lyta Hall's son Daniel gets kidnapped by Loki and Puck. The acting the actress Razane Jamal, so she plays Lyta Hall. I've seen other people say this; it's just not very good in season 2. Her character just very stiff, very flat, especially for a woman who's supposed to have lost her baby. It's just sort of like she's constantly crying and sad, but it's not like heavy tears or anything.
I see.
It's just, I don't know. I don't want to sit here and say, oh, well, a person who lost their child has to act in this specific way, because everyone grieves differently. But with her, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like a parent who thinks they've lost their child. And then eventually she ends up becoming a servant of the Furies, sent to kill the Dreaming, and like does not come across as because she believes Dreaming is the one who kidnapped and basically killed her child.
Okay.
Does not feel like a parent actually out for revenge, but while she's all through this, like Rose is just there basically to put her hand on Lyta's shoulder and go, there, it'll be all right. Like, okay. Why
Yeah,
is she here?
you know,
Why we could have just not had her and nothing in the story would have been affected. So I don't know why we brought her in and then she just doesn't matter.
Good question.
There's also some pacing problems. So Destruction in particular, I think it's this problem of they do an okay job with him in the first arc, but then in the second to last episode, the last real episode, he briefly shows up because Dream and Delirium, they find Destruction. They have a fairly short chat with him. He's like, nope, not coming back home. I'm leaving things the way they are. He basically says, like, Dream, you could just do the same as me. I left my realm hundreds of years ago. Destruction's still happening. The world wars, I didn't have to be there for those to happen. Humans just did it themselves. Us Endless, we don't actually matter. Everything will still happen without us. But he briefly shows up for Daniel. It's like, that's neat. But, like, we also just saw him kind of 4 episodes ago. So, like, there hasn't been enough of this gap for it to be this big, impactful moment to be like, no, the Destruction showed up and that's meaningful. That matters because we got to see him 4 episodes ago. You know, if it was,
right,
there's a season or a season and a half in between him once again disappearing, that would feel impactful. But because they condensed it in those ways, it just feels like, I don't know. Like, it's cool he's there, I guess, but I just don't care that much. It just doesn't feel like, oh man, that's crazy, he's back.
Well, it wasn't gone for too long, so fair enough.
Yeah. I'll also say, out of the Endless, so obviously plenty of Dreaming, decent amount of Death, fair amount of Delirium in season 2.
Sure.
Desire pops in and out. Destruction is there, but then Destiny, we don't get a whole lot. He's kind of just like a couple of scenes where it's, well, I'm Destiny and I'm here to just reveal someone's destiny kind of thing.
Sure.
And Desire, very little of. We really do not delve deep into her. Sorry, did I say Desire? Despair.
Despair.
Okay. Very little that they go into her with. There's basically a brief interaction between her and Morpheus, and then she gives a speech during his funeral, and that's basically it. And so it feels a little bit lacking that the show doesn't go more into the Endless. The comics did, but hey, that comic ran for 7 years or something. Obviously, it could delve more into it. There's also some stuff with the I think it's called the Land of the Fae. I forget the exact term. Basically the fairies, so Titania and Oberon.
Yeah.
There's some stuff with them which it sort of hints at the idea that Titania is in love with Dream, and that as a result that caused some jealousy out of Oberon and some tension. It doesn't get fleshed out the way that it needs to and should for how much for how important that becomes for basically one single moment. Because it is Titania who essentially calls Dreaming to the realm of the Fae, which because he has then left his realm, that is what allows the Furies to come and basically destroy a bunch of his land and ultimately kill him.
Yeah. As you do.
It's just like, oh, there should have been more than this. And again, the problem is there should have been drips and drabs of this story interspersed through more episodes so it properly built up to it. Wow, if this just had 3 seasons, some of these problems would go away. I still think it's good. I still think both seasons are well worth watching. But definitely going to season 2, people should be aware that it's a bit of a rough and rocky ride. It's certainly not Game of Thrones final season, but it could be a lot better as a kind of, hey, here's us closing it out and finishing this series.
Yeah, I often find after you get a strong season 1 in a Netflix show, you'll get a pretty weak sauce season 2. This case, it was probably because they were trying to close it quick because of the whole Sex Pest thing with Neil Gaiman. I'm sure that's the case. But at the same time, you know, this is effectively a different property because Neil Gaiman may be, you know, the guy who wrote the books and the comics and that kind of stuff, but he's not necessarily the showrunner or anything, so...
No, but he did do a lot of the like writing, executive producing. Yeah, he was heavily involved.
Never
in the
mind.
show.
Well, they could remove him and bring somebody else in. Like, there are people who are also talented, like Neil Gaiman is. I gotta say,
I never understood why they reacted the way that they did to it, because I absolutely think like the source material is there. It's not like, you know, let's say if in season 6 of Game of Thrones it turned out that George R.R. Martin was a sex pest. You're like, well, look, he hasn't finished it.
Yeah,
it's pretty hard to drop him out because, you know, we're waiting on him for a bunch of stuff. This is, you know, a comic that finished decades ago. You know what happens. You really could have just dropped. Now, maybe there's like, you know, contract stuff that would have made that very difficult to try and like completely cut him out. But, you know, I don't know.
I mean, Neil Gaiman is notoriously litigious on top of all that. So there's a good chance it was contract stuff. Like they were probably trying to drop him for being a sex pest and giving the whole thing a bad vibe, because nobody would want to watch it at that point. But he's like, well, I signed this, and this.
That's the thing is, I feel like for some reason they thought that would impact the kind of viewership and reception of this.
The average Netflix show viewer has no idea that he was a sex pest.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
B, I think even if they did, they still watch. I mean, like, I watched it because I just went, well, like, what?
Yeah,
it's one of those things. Oh,
that's terrible.
Like, okay, what if what does me watching it do? Right? It's not like me watching it somehow enables him to keep being a sex pest, right? No. Like, it's not like, you know, hey, if I don't watch this, then he won't get money and he'll be poor. Like, the man's already wealthy.
Yeah, he's made his money.
Yeah. So I don't know why they seem to knee-jerk react to it in a way where it's like, I don't think in any way this impacts people caring about this.
Yeah,
you know,
I think they still want the vocal media, the majority, the vocal minority to like kind of like be so unsilenceable that that it could bring this kind of bad vibe to the project, something like that. So
could be. I don't know, but yeah. I did read. So they have had some discussion, I guess you would call it. But I do not remember who. But there are people involved in the show talking about, oh, maybe we'll try and do a spin-off of, Joanna Constantine, or, some other part of it in a way, maybe, one of the other Endless, we could do, a one-off season about them or something. I don't know.
I mean, Death had her own book for a bit, so there you go.
Yeah, I could, like, Death would...
Look, I'm going to say this. And if all the Endless that I know of, Death is the most popular one next to, like, Dreaming. It's Dreaming, but Death is, like, right there. And people tend to like Death more than him because she's fun and quirky and spunky.
Yeah,
and
the tough one about Death is I don't know what your overarching story would be, because she's Death.
Yeah. Well,
kind of feels a little bit hard for her to have obstacles to overcome.
That's the thing. That's okay. This is why, like, when she appears in other DC comics, it's like, why the fuck are you here? Like, and she's only ever here as an Omen for whatever reason. And it's like, okay, are you going to do anything?
No, Tristan, Good Omens is a different thing.
Oh,
You're confusing two Neil Gaiman series.
I'm not. No, she does often appear in other things, and just like I said, as a harbinger of death. And when that happens, she's not there to solve any problems. It's just so DC can shove a Neil Gaiman property into a booking, so you can get like, Gaiman heads, we put a character you liked in the book, and they go like, oh, I'm not gonna read that. Cool though. Thanks, DC. And that would be the same thing. I think if she got her own show, it would be maybe a different scenario. I think you could pull it off. Like Marvel did an Agatha Harkness show, and that shouldn't have worked, but it did. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's impossible. It's just, it's the, like, her bonus episode is fun.
Yeah.
But her bonus episode mostly only has stakes because of, this is the one day of a year she's technically immortal, and she doesn't have her death powers, whereas, the rest of it's a little bit weird to be like, what's the tension for her? What are her struggles? But you could maybe write something good. What I will say is, I don't know that I care about that, though. Yeah. I liked the Sandman.
Sure.
But I don't really need something to try and, delve more into the lore. Or I shouldn't say I don't need something more. I would have liked if this was 3 seasons and within this show they had done that. I don't need a follow-up show for that.
No.
Outside of the story of the Sandman.
Spin this off into a death show or something like that. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, like, you could make a good show, but I think the concern there is then they go, well, we have to show more about kind of the myth of all this, etc. Whereas I think a Joanne Constantine show would actually work, because then you're kind of exploring more of her stuff. You're not having to deal with all this God stuff in that.
That all said, I think if you wanted a show that's kind of a spin-off, it's not actually, because it predates Sandman, of the Sandman stuff, you should watch Lucifer, because that is Lucifer from the DC, like the Vertigo Sandman series, just not the one you know from the show, but they base that character off of that character from Neil Gaiman's writings and stuff. So, like, that is 100% what you'd want. Is like this Lucifer solving mysteries So it is what you want as far as like another one of these things.
Look, if
it's also
made Gwendolyn Christie in a hey, I'm literal Satan, but I'm just here to solve mysteries, I'd watch that. That sounds all right.
That is literally the show. Yes, he is not hiding the fact that he's Lucifer at all.
I need to be Gwendolyn Christie again.
Yeah, sure, but like, okay, I do like the idea that the fact that it's Gwendolyn Christie in the series show. She is a phenomenal choice for that. But the guy they get to play Lucifer is fucking great at this. He was born to play this role. He's so smarmy and shitty. It's perfect. But like,
I'm sure he feels great hearing you were born to play Satan.
I think he does. I think he enjoys it because he seems to like the character. Like he did it for 4 seasons, right? So like, he must enjoy it. But it's full of that shtick, and I think the Lucifer TV show is what people might want if they want more of this Sandman show, and they haven't watched that yet. That said, the Constantine TV show was not that bad, so there's also that, but it was...
There's a Constantine TV show?
Yeah, man. In fact, the guy that played Constantine has been playing Constantine in everything he possibly can whenever he gets a chance. If Constantine is going to show up in a thing, he's like almost contractually obligated to be the guy to play Constantine.
Well, except they're making a Constantine 2.
With
still
Keanu
featuring
Reeves?
Keanu Reeves, yeah.
But that's different, though. That's a whole different scenario, sure.
I don't know why they're making that. I don't know who that's for.
That movie was not that bad. It's definitely...
Look, don't get me wrong. I like that movie. I don't want to see Keanu Reeves reprise that role.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that dude's 60 now?
Yeah, well, with that said, so is Constantine. Because Constantine...
comics.
No.
Eternal young.
No. The whole thing with Constantine, don't forget about this, is his whole thing is that Constantine is the only character that ages in real time. Like he actually is supposed to be like in his 80s now, but like not like but he's got magic and shit, so he's got a demonic heart that keeps him younger looking, but he's definitely in his 80s. That's his whole thing.
No, I know. I like as a movie, I don't really want to see that. You know?
No, I understand. Yeah, like I don't necessarily care either. I think that Constantine movie from like 2000 whatever was pretty good. It actually like captured the spirit of it.
Peter Stormare is a fantastic Lucifer.
Yeah, I agree with that. That movie has some
feet are gross.
Yes, they are. It's a good movie with like a weird ending, and that's kind of the worst you can say of it. And I think that like this. Like the Neil Gaiman Sandman stuff is so it's such the jumping off point for all these other stuff. Well, actually, no, it's the jumping on point for everybody else who wants to see these other things. So like the Netflix show, like people have been doing Neil Gaiman's work for like a long time, just without any real big fanfare about it. So it's always been like smaller projects or like a one-off movie here or there or that kind of thing. It's never really been like the Sandman either. It's been his smaller shit. And there's a lot out there for people to enjoy if they like stuff like the Sandman. But at the same time, none of it is actually the Sandman or even Neil Gaiman's work. It's usually stuff that's like Vertigo, which all had a very similar vibe because the Sandman had such a specific vibe that everybody latched onto that when things weren't like when other Vertigo comics weren't that, like nobody really went for it. To a point where like I think why Sweet Tooth did so well, which was a Vertigo comic, is because it had that Neil Gaiman sort of vibe. That's Jeff Lemire. And when the Netflix show of that came out, even though they changed quite a bit of it, like the whole vibe of the Sweet Tooth TV show is so radically different from the comic. But like, it still feels like a Vertigo property. So I think that, like, I haven't watched the Sandman show at all, because I'm not a big Sandman fan. I've not hidden this at all, that I'm not a big Neil Gaiman fan. I think he's a good writer, but I don't get the absolute, like, gravity towards him. So there's that, but, like, I don't know, like, from what I've seen of this show, it feels like the right kind of thing. It feels like a Vertigo property, and like I said, Vertigo stories at the time had a very specific feel, and there's so much out there that feels like that without really saying that it is that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have any real, like, recommendations for if somebody wants, you know, more of this thing, other than to say, like, I don't know, maybe go read some of Neil Gaiman's other works or something, because obviously, you know, they're going to have a similar feel.
Go to your local library, get his comics and books, because he wrote a lot, so... So essentially, well, he's not that prolific, but he's effectively British Stephen King. So
yeah, it's kind of a good way to put it.
Yeah, but more like a better writer. I like Stephen King, but he's not that good of a writer.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there.
Quantity over quality, basically.
Yeah,
but he does do quality sometimes. Yeah,
but. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to say about it. Again, I really liked it. It's definitely got some problems, but
cool.
It's well worth the watch. You know, it's a shame it got marred. Thanks to Neil Gaiman, and that impacted everything. But I still recommend this show. I still give it a solid thumbs up.
Right on. Yeah, it is too bad that they got marred with him trying to invite his then 18-year-old house sitter to the bath with him.
Look, on this podcast, we think of that as just standard presidential-like action. So I don't see how
it is
you did
extremely
anything wrong.
Presidential. I agree.
Yeah. Good enough for the president, good enough for me, you know?
Hell yeah. Bring on those Epstein files. All right.
I was talking about Bill Clinton.
Oh, okay. Bring on those Epstein files. Wonder if Gaiman's on there. Probably not. Yeah. No, I think that, like I said, there's a lot out there that has that Vertigo vibe that I'm sure you can find. Like I said, Lucifer's really good. There's a Constantine show, had like one season, they ditched it. It wasn't the greatest, but the guy who plays Constantine is like perfect. Like that's what you want. Matt something I think his name was. I can't remember what his name actually is. But he's shown up in other things. He's actually the guy who voices Constantine in the like DC movies too, the animated movies.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So that's how like in it he is for Constantine. He's got a pure love for that character. And I admire that shit. Yeah, that's I'd say about the Sandman show.
Yeah. So why don't you tell people where to find us?
I will. You should go to our Blue Sandwiches at EIFNIR. That's where we are there. Tweeting. Well, I guess we don't tweet anymore. Blue skying. Posting, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you want to say about that? Bluing yourself about about things. You can contact us there and then tell us how much you love not Sandman, Swamp Thing. Go for Swamp Thing. An Alan Moore property, Swamp Thing. There you go.
Yeah.
You should also go to let's see, our Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you can find a podcast. If you find this podcast somewhere, share this with your friends. And if you found it on YouTube, you should click the buttons that make your life better.
That close tab button.
That, and if there's ads on there, click those two. Just, I'm assuming if they're advertising, to you, it's got to mean they want you to buy it, which means it's going to change your life for the better.
Don't trust YouTube ads. It'll somehow end up trying to convince you to become a right-wing nut, because that's where YouTube always leads.
Yeah, there's a lot of ads in Canadian YouTube algorithms that they're like just pictures of Mark Carney being arrested, like our prime minister. And I'm like, what are you trying to? What are you trying to tell me here? He wasn't arrested. That and Temu. Yeah, go click on some Temu ads.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Click on those. Whatever.
Buy some garbage. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody loves garbage. Go to our friends, which is djdane.com. That's the guy who does music. djdane.com. Go there, listen to his great tunes. And if you just so happen to be within the realm of the endless, realize that he is there. His name is also starts with D. He is Dane, the endless. So enjoy, hanging with him and just try and figure out what he does besides music. I have no clue.
Eternal Torment or something. I don't know.
Something like that. It's going to be Torment or Mirth or could be credit card bills. I don't know. Give me anything.
Yeah.
Anything at all. Anyway, that's it
endlessly escapable.
Yeah, that's right. And that's it for our show. Tune next time for another closed episode of Everything's Finally Ruined. See ya.
See ya.